What's up, guys? I'm Chris Godskesson, and I am no longer a real estate photographer. That's right, I'm done. And also, I wear hats now, so that's a thing. I'm just kidding, this is part of my Halloween costume. Indiana Jones, but like, you know, I just low effort. I figured today we should talk about, because nobody asked, what is in my real estate photography bag. So let's do it. So for a while now, I've been tossing up the idea of maybe I should do this what's in my real estate photography bag. The tripod video I did so well for my channel. People seem to like it, so I figured this might be useful as to what I carry with me every single day when I'm shooting properties, when I was shooting properties, because I'm done with it. I don't have to do it anymore. I'm a seasonal real estate photographer, so I photograph basically whenever there's peak season. And that lasted till the end of October. So after that, I'm done. You know, next season, maybe I'll jump back into it, but we'll see. So the stuff that I keep in my real estate photography bag is actually pretty straightforward and simple. This is gonna go over kind of all the gear you need to. It's not much. Really how a shoot works is I grab all my stuff out of my trunk, I set it up on my tripod, I go into the property and I shoot. It's super straightforward. I don't carry a lot of stuff with me. The only stuff going into the property with me is my camera and my tripod. When I'm working out of the back of my car, I've found the easiest thing to do is actually just use one of these f-stop ICU camera units that goes into an f-stop bag. It's super easy to pull stuff out of and work through, and I found it to be the best. I don't need anything more than this. I was using like a big low pro backpack, but there's just too much. It was almost all empty space. So to save space in my trunk, to make things easier, this is what I did. And then on top of it, I just threw a little Peak Design strap. That's how I carry it in and out of my car every day. Jumping into the actual gear that I use, you've seen the tripod, the Benro 8,000 letters with 8,000 numbers. Still love it, still using it. I'm actually using it for video now because the geared head is so nice to be able to adjust and do what I need to do when I'm shooting video. It's perfect, and I'm actually really excited that I can start using it for video now instead. When it comes to the actual camera that I use, I'm using a 5D Mark IV. It's just the camera that I had extra that I wasn't using for landscape photography. Love the 5D Mark IV, it's great. I highly recommend, if you're gonna shoot real estate, stick to DSLRs, really for the only reason is weather sealing. They're way better for that. My company in particular requires us to shoot in any conditions. So if it's snowing, if it's raining, if half of Colorado's on fire, we're still shooting. And no joke, like the only thing that really got into my camera was all that ash when it was raining ash from the fires, and that I just blew out of the sensor. But the weather sealing on these is great. I think the EOS R line's probably pretty good, but I would say stick with DSLRs for now. It's getting better. All my Sony stuff, like I think my A7R4 shipped to me from the factory with dust on the sensor. It's just a problem. I'm not so much worried about the water, it's the dust on the sensor that's huge because it's a pain to clone out. I don't do editing, but I have a processing team that they handle all of it, and they complain to me all the time whenever there's dust on the sensor. So I just don't want to deal with it. When it comes to a lens, you need a wide angle zoom lens. Well, you don't need a zoom, but you should have a zoom. The one I use is the Canon 17-40. Let's see if that's in frame. Yeah, I use the Canon 17-40 millimeter f4. When I'm shooting, I shoot at a stopped down aperture, so you don't need high speed. Wide is good. Anywhere between 16 to 18 millimeters is kind of the widest range that you should go. Any wider than that, and you can get some distortions. Any narrower than that, you don't get enough of the room in the photo. So the 16 to 35 family of lenses is great to go with. That's what I would do. If you don't have one of those lenses right now, go for the cheaper option if you don't need high speed, like an f2.8. f4 has been perfect because I shoot everything at f8 when I'm shooting real estate. So the 16 to 35 f4, that's a great lens. This I think now goes for like $600 or $700. You can get them used for like 300. They're super cheap. And this is one of Canon's sharpest zoom lenses. So I'm a huge fan. On the bottom of that, I have the Peak Design standard Arca Swiss plate. I love this. This is probably my favorite Arca Swiss plate of any on the market. It's super low profile, very small. This is probably not gonna show up. Super low profile, very small, and it's 4-way. So I can clip this into the tripod plate, the quick connect plate, any direction that I want, and that makes it really quick and easy. So I put these on everything for all my DSLRs and everything. The only other plate that I use on other stuff now is the Really Right Stuff L plates for anything that I'm gonna be doing landscape with. But for the most part, these are what I'm playing with, and they work awesome. Can't complain. Moving on. Aside from that, the only two other things that I really use every single day that I go through are memory cards and batteries. Each shoot that I do has to have a new memory card. It's just the way that the software we use operates. Every shoot has its own memory card. So for those, I'm using this little think tank pouch. I have written on it the company I work for only, so that if I'm pulling this out of another bag, I know exactly what this is. That might have clipped. And then in here, I have the cheapest SD cards that I could find at the time, which was the SanDisk Extreme 90 megabyte bit? I don't freaking know. Read speed, and they're 16 gigs because buying the amount that I did was actually cheaper than buying the 8 gigs. I shoot for this job all medium JPEG, so I'm not allowed to shoot RAW. It's dumb, I know, RAW is superior, but that's just how the company wants it. So these 16 gig cards are more than plenty. I've never gone through, what's the most amount of shoots I've done in a day? I have 9 in here plus the one that's in my 5D Mark IV. I've never gone through like more than 6 or 7 in a day. So plenty, and I think all of these cards combined was like maybe $100, $200. I can't remember, but it was really cheap. I got them on B&H, they were on sale. This was the way to go 100%. Buy the small cards, you don't need speed, especially at medium JPEG. Like you're never gonna fill your camera's buffer, even if you're holding the thing down forever. I feel like I'm doing pretty well for unscripted this time. Normally, it's just a cluster. Okay, next up is batteries. So the Canon takes, the 5D Mark IV takes LPE6 batteries. I have 4 in here, this little think tank Velcro pouch. Let me see if I can do this without it clipping again. Oh, that was better, okay. So I actually have 4 batteries total, including the one that's in the camera. I have never in a single day of shooting used more than 1.5 batteries. I can mostly do almost every single day on 1 battery, and that's usually about 5 or 6 shoots. Sometimes if there's a lot of photos in an image package, or if I'm moving around a lot, the camera's on a long time, then yeah, I'll go through 1.5 batteries, but usually it's just 1 battery. Now you might be thinking to yourself, those batteries are super efficient. The 5D Mark IV is super efficient. How are you going through that much battery in only 5 or 6 shoots? Well, let me tell you, and I'm pretty sure this is why. So because your angles are so important on when you're shooting real estate photography, one thing that I did is I turned on the back LCD, I turned on the level. So that way, without even looking through the viewfinder, I can see how level I am. And I think having that screen on all the time is what drains the batteries much quicker, but it's totally worth it because that makes shooting so much faster and so much more efficient. Can't recommend that enough. Up next, there's just little accessories and stuff that I keep in my bag. It's really nothing special. I keep this is a 3-legged thing tripod tool. And the reason I keep this in here is because oftentimes throughout the day, as I'm opening and closing the tripod, and I'll do this, you know, every room I go into, I usually open and close the tripod legs so I can fit it through a doorway. That loosens the tripod legs up over time. And, you know, once a week maybe, I'll go into the apex joint point for the tripod leg and use a little Allen key and just tighten up those legs so that they don't come down on their own. So that I keep that in there. Next thing I keep is a little blower. This is one of those Giotos blowers. This is the mini one. I don't keep a full-size one with me because I just don't need it. This is really just to blow off the lens if there's dust. Sometimes I have to blow through the sensor. If it rains, dust can get in the sensor. Even with Canon's amazing weather sealing, it happens. So this is just there to stop that from happening. After that, I have a ton of microfiber cloths, like a lot. These are super handy when it's raining. I just always keep these in my pocket. If I know it's gonna rain that day, I can just wipe off the lens. And it's pretty, I mean, it's a cloth. How much more description do I need to give it? After that, I have a bunch of these little Zeiss wipes. These are a lifesaver. Love these. I use these on the lens when it needs to get really cleaned. I use it on the viewfinder because the viewfinder glass can get dirty over time. And one thing too is if I have to sanitize the camera with like a Lysol wipe, it leaves a weird film on the back LCD. This takes care of that, no problem. So I always have a bunch of these with me. I think you can buy like 100 of these for like 20 bucks. They're super cheap, get them on Amazon. They're really handy to have around. After that, the only other thing I keep in my camera bag is this. This is my bodily functions bag. I did a video on this a while back. This is just the basic stuff that you should have with you whenever you're doing a shoot. This is like Advil, some antacid like Tums. I got dude wipes in here if you need to like wash your face or you have a messy poop. Just little stuff like that that really is handy to have with you. And that's it. It's super simple. You don't need much. I think for the first couple months I was bringing a zoom lens with me just in case I needed to capture shots of views, because oftentimes agents will ask you to shoot the views, like especially here in Colorado where the front range is gorgeous and you can see it from a lot of properties. I don't do that. Like, I got tired of carrying around a zoom lens. Didn't want to carry my 24-70, didn't want to carry my 70-200. There was something about leaving that stuff in my car. It just didn't really feel safe, and I really never use it. I think I had one agent ever who really wanted me to punch in and capture the mountains, and I had to stand on one side of the house with my 70-200, zoomed into 200 millimeters to shoot through the window with the window frame in to get Long's Peak. And it was a great shot, don't get me wrong, but most people aren't that needy. So it just isn't ever a thing. 40 millimeters on this guy is plenty to capture views, because the thing is, if you're using a long zoom lens, you lose perspective on what you're shooting. So you'll get a photo of just the mountain, but you don't know where you are. So like, I would usually rather use a wider lens to capture the fence or the backyard with the mountains and things like that. So yeah, super simple. I can't stress it enough. That's all you need for real estate. Get a wide zoom and a full frame, because full frame is just better anyway. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to make something real quick, and I would do a shot right now because I'm done with real estate, but I don't have anything near me. Can't say that I'm bummed, but I also, you know, it was a good job. Paid really, really well. So I'm, you know, if the next season comes up and they need me, I don't know if I'll be able to say no. But yeah, that's it. What do you guys want me to do for my next video? I'm super curious. I am working on doing a review for my Really Red Stuff tripod. That's still in the works. I just haven't had time because I work every single day. But yeah, if you like this, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, please. It helps out a ton. Let me know what video you want me to do next. If it's more real estate stuff, I'm happy to do it. If it's something else, that's cool too. I've been having a lot of fun doing the photo trips where I just, you know, make a video of me taking pictures. That's probably my favorite thing to do. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna stop rambling, and bye.